这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的听力水平在生活中是完全够用的。要持续提升英文，记得点击订阅按钮。我们开始吧。
He learned the hard way that fire remembers every hand that reaches too close. Long before burn one's fingers became a line people said without thinking, there was a river town in northern England where smoke rose every morning like a second sky. The town had no grand name worth remembering. What people remembered was the sound. Hammers striking iron. Bellows breathing like lungs. Chains clinking. Fire talking to stone. Life there followed heat. You woke when the furnaces woke. You rested when the fire slept. Children learned early where not to step and what not to touch. Mistakes were fast and clear. You did not argue with pain. You learned from it or you left. Thomas was born into that town. His father worked iron until his back bent and his hands grew thick like wood. When his father died young, Thomas was sent to the forge before his voice fully changed. He learned to sweep floors, carry water, and keep his mouth shut. That last part was hardest for him. Thomas noticed things. He noticed which men were trusted and which were watched. He noticed that speed impressed merchants and silence impressed masters. He noticed money moved faster than wisdom. And he noticed that those who waited often lived longer but stayed where they were. The forge owner, Master Hale, had scars on both arms. He never explained them. When men asked questions, he answered slowly or not at all. When iron cracked or warped, he did not curse. He simply adjusted and tried again. Thomas mistook that calm for weakness. One winter afternoon, a trader arrived with news from another town. He spoke loudly about a new method. Heat the iron faster. Pull it sooner. Save coal. Sell more bars before nightfall. The trader's hands were clean. That should have been a warning. Master Hale listened without interrupting. He offered bread and ale but no promise. The trader left annoyed. Thomas stayed awake that night thinking about the words faster and more. In his mind they sounded like freedom. A week later, Master Hale left early for a nearby town. He trusted the men to follow routine. Thomas saw his chance. He convinced himself that progress belonged to the brave. He pushed the furnace hotter than usual. The iron glowed bright and beautiful. He rushed the process. Time felt like an enemy. He reached for the iron too soon. For one breath he believed he was right. Then the heat answered him. Pain shot through his fingers like lightning. He dropped the iron screaming. The smell of burned skin filled the forge. Men ran. Water spilled. Cloth wrapped his hand, but the damage was done. Thomas did not sleep that night. His fingers throbbed with every heartbeat. He replayed the moment again and again. Not the pain, but the thought before it. The thought that he knew better. When Master Hale returned, he did not ask for details. He looked at Thomas's bandaged hand and said quietly, "You burned your fingers reaching where you had no patience to wait." The words were not sharp, but they stayed sharp. Others repeated the line, not to mock him, but to warn each other. Soon it became shorter. He burned his fingers. Everyone understood. Thomas healed slowly. The skin never felt the same. Years passed. He stayed at the forge. He watched men come and go. Some chased fast gain and left hurt or broke. Others learned to wait. Thomas became steady. When young workers rushed, he told them nothing. He simply held up his hand. The saying traveled beyond the town. Traders used it when deals went wrong. Mothers used it when children ignored advice. It no longer needed fire to make sense. It meant you touched something too soon, trusted something too fast, believed yourself ready when you were not. History remembers kings and wars, but phrases like this come from smaller places. From burned hands. From quiet lessons. From moments when pain speaks louder than pride. There's a point in every life when you stand where Thomas stood. You see a chance. You feel tired of waiting. You tell yourself this time is different. And maybe it is. Or maybe it is the fire teaching you what it always teaches. When you burn your fingers, the world is not cruel. It is clear. And if you listen, you walk away wiser, carrying a lesson written deeper than skin.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。